my name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold, and that's to encourage you to take some time out for yourself. With paper, you'll find you can really get focused. When you're folding something beautiful, it will bring you joy, it will lift your mood, and you'll forget everything else just for that little bit. I thoroughly recommend it. I use it myself all the time, and it truly does bring me joy. So it's beautiful to pass it on. All of these films are dedicated to my colleagues at UCLH Hospital, and I'm encouraging staff as well as patients, but this is for everybody, to join me in folding paper. It's a peaceful, beautiful activity, and you will endlessly be inspired by what you can create. You can get playing around and find your own new things, or enjoy that it's part of a culture, that people have learnt things and passed it on, and the possibilities really are endless. So I thought this week I'd share with you something I think is just really lovely. It's quite simple, and sometimes simple is just right. Making these little blossom, and I thought actually it's been gorgeous cherry blossom time. It's so fleeting and so short, and definitely go out and see those beautiful trees and blossom. They will fall quite soon, which is why it makes them so beautiful as well. So I thought it'd be really nice to show you how you can make some little blossom, maybe for a little branch. If you found a little branch outside in the park that's fallen, maybe you can make some little flowers and add to it. So kind of a blossom branch, origami spring. I happen to have some very gorgeous papers here, but you can also colour and shade yourself. So a little square of paper, you can start shading and enjoying the gradation of colours and then fold from that. So here I've just used blue tack for now, and I've just blue tack on these flowers, or you can make ones of different sizes. Here I've just started, I made one and then I made a larger one behind, and they just make really beautiful decorations. There's something so pleasing about this symmetry, so I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. So if you grab yourself a piece of paper, something nice to rest on, and we'll get started. So I think this is Easter, spring, summer that will emerge, better times, the hope that it brings. Piece of paper. So I'm going to make a huge flower, but obviously you could make tiny ones if you're going to make ones for a little branch. So how to make a square. So taking a corner and lining it up. I know this is something I have shown many times, but often it is a repetition, which is also quite grounding, quite relaxing. I'm folding through that corner just from this most everyday of material. You can find so many things. Someone recently referred to the memory of the paper. Each fold is held in there. That's a rather beautiful thing. We're going to remove this rectangle. So if you just pull it back and line it up. So I wasn't expecting to do so many folds. It's been since previous March, and it's now April, a year later. I've been sharing folds. It's been so lovely to hear from people saying what a difference it's made to them. Very happy to hear that. I'm going to do a little tiny nick there, and then since you've given hopefully a good strong fold, then you should be able to just tear off that strip. There we go. So this is a traditional flower. There are many sort of variations of this. We have done a diagonal already. That's great. We're going to now do the other diagonal. And the beauty, I think, with YouTube is you can pause, you can come back to it, you can even change the speed. So you should be able to do this. And it's just about slowing yourself down, enjoying those creases, enjoying just the simplicity of it and the challenge of it too. So we've done the diagonals. Next, if we turn it over, and we're going to do a horizontal and a vertical. There are not too many steps for this. It is a simple one, but somehow it felt just right. Perhaps simple. I think that's something at the heart of origami is simple, although you can get complicated if you wish. But I think for well-being, actually simple is often rather good. So I have done vertical there. I'm going to do the other horizontal. And it was important that we did the diagonal on one side and then we turned it over, because it's all about the direction of the folds, and it will help you then fold it up in the correct way. So hopefully you have got a piece of paper now like this, and hopefully you should be able to just push all of these pieces together and it forms a square, which you can see already it's got that feel of a bud, can't you? There we go. So you can flatten it. It's a lovely little square now, but with the potential to form a little flower. So next you've got these little flaps, and you can pop your finger in just to make sure there's no wrinkle at the bottom there, and then squash it down in a straight line. Keep the tips together as well. So if you've made a lily with me, it's the same kind of thing. There's quite a few folds that start off in this way. That's it. You get that a little bit more correct. Everything lined up. I think it's that attention to detail which is quite satisfying. It's one of those pleasures we don't normally talk about, isn't it? We like to get things right. It can be quite reassuring. So I'm going to now turn to the back, and again one of these little flaps, and again you can pop your finger in and squash it down, and again you can see it's coming apart from itself. I'm again going to keep these little tips together. And then you can see I've tried to line all of this up. Lots to think about, and that's actually what also I think means that it focuses your mind, because you can't be thinking of other things. So it's a little bit wrinkled there. Get rid of that. You could use something like a pencil or your finger, but it's wrinkling, just to get rid of that. You definitely don't want it to be wrinkled there. It will affect it all. There we go, lovely shapes already. Turn the page again, and you've got another flap, and it's the same thing. Pop your finger in. Maybe this is just relaxing to watch, but maybe you can give it a go yourself too. It's definitely doable. It's all about being patient with yourself, being kind, not being judgmental about yourself, giving yourself an opportunity. And it takes time learning new things. And I think that's all part of it. You'll also get a good sense of achievement, I think, from doing things that are a little bit tricky. So if you don't actually find this so easy, good. That means that you're gently pushing yourself. You will gain from that. I'm just again leafing through my little book here of pages, and there's just one more here to do. We're not far off actually. It's a simple fold this week. Simple can be good. Again, putting my finger down, if possible, to the bottom. My finger's not that long, is it? But I'm doing that to try to get rid of that wrinkle at the bottom. Keeping that again lined up, and the tips lined up. It's all that attention to detail which makes it rather pleasing. So there we go. We are already getting there. So with your sort of bud now, you can open it. It's a really big flower, this one. So we've sort of got the shape there, but to make it sort of fold in the right manner, we're going to add an extra little sort of dip. Let me see if I can show you. Can you see the difference? So the difference is we're going to add a little sort of V shape here. Actually, when it's smaller, it's easier. I've made it harder for myself doing it this way, big. But what I'm going to do that V shape, I am just going to just gently push in there until it sort of will join up to make a triangle. You see? So it will go from that point to that point. Definitely harder big. I recommend you do this small. But I'm doing it big so you can see well. Can you see? And again, the same thing for this one. I am going to, again, pushing it in. And hopefully it's just enjoyable playing with the materials. Something that emerges. And you're not having to measure anything. You're just, again, oh, that works quite well. Squeezing it there. You see, it's added a nice little. And again, I want to do this. So pushing it And as with before, you're discovering this in your own hands. It's your own sense of achievement, because you're having to understand it in order to do it, really. It is very practical. And I think as a species, we are creators, and that's making something, it's creating something. And that does involve understanding materials well, and you don't have to do that in a cerebral way, but just by playing with it, you're beginning to understand. Again, you can see I'm pushing that in. Oh, it's lovely shapes. You're hearing all this crinkling paper as well. That's it. So it's beginning to get there. It's almost there, actually. So the final step to make this look a little bit more like the flower is these petals, a bit sharp at the moment. So I am going to just gently sort of almost get rid of that sharp line and try and curl the petals back a bit. It's very sculptural, isn't it? I'm just enjoying simple forces. It is very mindful, this fold, I think. Bringing that back. Wondering how big a piece of paper we could go. We could make huge flowers. And again, so getting rid of that centre line and curling it back. But I love that we've gone from something quite angular to softening it. And it is the sort of perfection side of origami that I think does make it very pleasing. There we go. This is a giant piece of blossom. And you can do ones of different sizes and put them inside each other, do a whole little nest of blossom. Put one here. Oh, now I'm curious how it will look. Let's have a little play. So ones of different sizes I've made. How will they line up? What will they look like? I don't know. But, you can certainly have a lovely play with them. And if you do things small, then you can make your own little tiny blossom. Do a bit of colouring in and bring yourself some spring and flowers that will hopefully just lift your spirits. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much.